Are you in the mood to see some really expensive, very rare high-end coins this evening? Well, if you are, you might want to switch away because this probably isn't going to be what you're looking for. But if you're looking at maybe making a little bit of a return and having some fun, stick around. So as you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be about nickels. Now, there are lots of valuable nickels out there. We're really not going to be talking about those. But on the bright side, we're also not going to be talking about pulling large sums of money out of your pocket. Instead, we're just going to kind of go back to basics and, getting some okay coins for not too much money. Anyway, let's start back about 10 years. I used to do a lot of coin roll hunting, not so much anymore, on occasion, but not really too much. And for a while, I was getting lots of nickels, and I used to like going through nickels because I had a lot of good luck going through them. I'd actually find good years. I mean, I never found a 1950D, but I did find some 38 Ds and S's, 39 D and S. I found some coins from the 40s and 50s that were actually like in pretty decent shape, like AU shape, and found a few war nickels. So I would have some luck with those. Never, ever, ever one time had any luck with quarters or dimes. That's why I just never bothered with that. I always did the best with pennies and nickels. Now, as some of you might know, metals prices are going up kind of high. Right now, nickel, the metal, is about $9.62 a pound. And as you might have guessed, there is quite a bit of nickel in a nickel, along with some copper. The melt value on a nickel, not that you can melt it, but the melt value on a nickel is almost 7 cents. And it's probably going to keep rising, in my opinion. For those of you who don't know, there was a little bit of a nickel squeeze about a year or two ago, and nickel was actually about $22 a pound, and for a very short period of time, it went up over $30, $30 a pound. It was going absolutely crazy. Like I said, there was this big squeeze, and then basically I forget exactly which exchange it was, but the exchange that did the nickel trading basically erased all of the day's trades because one of their very, very wealthy investors, well, he got kind of caught with his pants down, and I think he had like a big short position on his nickel contracts, betting that the price would go down, but it actually skyrocketed, and he was set to lose, like, I think, billions of dollars. So they basically undid everything, made a whole mockery of the thing, set off lawsuits and all this other stuff. But if you do look at nickel charts, you'll see that it's actually hit like over 20. And like I said, that very, very short period of time when it was like $30 or so, you're probably going to have to dig that up in articles. But I digress. So I was talking about some of the good stuff you can find. Like you can find some of the, the older dates. You can find some better dates like the 38 and 39 Ds and S's, the 50D, though I never found one of those. There are some rare varieties. I've never found them, and honestly, it's like a needle in a haystack. You can still find some war nickels because a lot of people still don't know that some nickels had silver in them. But I do want you to remember something, and that is that nickels are worth more than face value. It's almost 7 cents, and I think there's a chance in the future that, who knows, that might end up going to 10 or 15, dare I say 20 cents. Who knows? Now, another thing that I really do like to buy find are Canadian nickels. If you look at Canadian nickels, they're a little more difficult to figure out exactly what you have. Than you need a good memory than U.S. nickels, because U.S. nickels are pretty much the same composition since like the 19th century. Same nickel and copper composition. But the Canadian nickels, they seem to change quite often, but a pretty good number of them are actually used to be 99.9% pure nickel. And the way it works out, believe it or not, is that roughly if nickel's like $10 a pound, they're about 10 cents a piece. If it's $11 a pound, they're about 11 cents each. So as far as like a pure nickel play, it's a pretty good option, but kind of like I want to get away from the metal price a little bit because I know some people, like years ago when it hit like 8 cents, 9 cents, some people are actually getting boxes of nickels and putting them away. I'm really not a fan of that. I don't save any nickels like that, but I do save dates that I think are a little bit better. Like in front of us right now, I have a tube of 1953D, a tube of 1940S, a tube of 1952S, and a tube of 1946. Now, if you look at the mintages for nickels in the last, I don't know, 20, 25 years, the U.S. Mint cranks out lots and lots of nickels, like sick numbers of nickels, except for 2009. And those are really the only ones that are, kind of have collector value, to be honest with you. But if you look at some of the numbers from nickels that were made from 1930, I'm just talking about, Jefferson here, but from like, say, 1938 to mid to late 50s, there was some pretty low mintage years. Like I said, 1950D was the king of the low mintage years, but a lot of other years, there really weren't that many made. Now, I know some rare coin collectors might scoff and say, well, 10 million's a lot. And yeah, it is. 10 million's a big number. But when you compare it to 500 million or a billion, it's actually kind of teeny tiny. And especially when you see how these things have been banging around for 60 or 70 years. The other thing is a lot of these old dates, I posit, aren't removed from circulation because a lot of people just don't notice the difference. I think for a lot of people, if they see a nickel and it has a buffalo on it, they think, oh, a buffalo nickel, I'm going to save this. If they were to find a mercury dime, they're going to keep that because it looks different. But if you think about it, Jefferson's been on the front of the nickel in Monticello for 86 years. Yes, that's 86 years. Yes, 86 years, 38 to 24. Now, I can see the nickels and notice a difference. If you show me one from 1940, if you show me a really nice nickel with very little wear from 1940 something, and then one from 1970 something, I can tell the difference by the strike. Most people can't. And especially even going into the 80s and 90s, they can't. The fact that some of them were a little different, and after 2000 we had the different profile of Jefferson, you would think people would pick up on that, but I really still don't think a lot of people do. I think they're just programmed to say, just one of those nickels, and that's it. And they just kind of throw it aside. So as far as saving nickels, I kind of think it's good twofold. I mean, number one, you're getting more in the nickel value, so I kind of like that. And I know it's only like less than 2 cents right now, but this is just something I do. The other thing is, even though numismatic-wise, a lot of them aren't worth anything really huge, I mean, a lot of these nickels, if you look in a price guide, maybe 15 cents, 20 cents for the ones that are worn. Now, they'll go up a lot higher if they're in mint state condition, but I mean, for the kind of thing you'd pick up out of a roll, that's what you can expect to find. Now, like I said, I don't do coin roll hunting much at all anymore, very rarely. But what I do is my wife and I like to pay with cash whenever possible because we like using cash. But then when we get change, we always save that change. And if we spend $19.12 at a store, even if we have the 12 cents, we just give them a 20. The cashier says, hey, do you have the 12 cents? Nope, don't have it, just the 20. And we'll get that 88 cents back. And my wife and I do it for a couple of reasons. The reason why we both do it is because it's kind of yet another way of forced savings. And it was actually, believe it or not, a big method for us saving money for our home. I think we probably well over $1,000 or so of our down payment was probably cashing in change, and that's a conservative estimate. It might have been closer to like $1,500 or more. The second thing is, I like going through the change to find stuff. I look for Lincoln pennies that are copper. I pull them out. Pull out the wheats. I pull out pre-1960 Jefferson nickels. I'll look for W quarters on occasion. All that kind of stuff. And like I said, I find it enjoyable, and I kind of throw stuff into the collection. Now, I haven't been as organized lately as far as putting everything in solid date tubes and whatnot, but I have been trying to get more organized lately, kind of to get a handle on what I have and what I don't have. So I kind of came across some of these tubes and I said that might be an interesting thing, because I think anyone who appreciates coins can get excited over a really rare, beautiful coin. If I had the wherewithal to buy like an MS-65 or 66 1909 S red VDB red penny that was graded, I'm sure a lot of you would look at it and say, wow, that's a really cool coin. Unfortunately, I think I am pretty safe in saying that probably the majority of us either can't afford it, or if we can, it's probably not the best use of our money. But this is something we can do that is enjoyable, and like I said, I mean, I think at the worst case scenario, you're saving your money. Now, yeah, sure, one day some of these coins might go up more money. Maybe some of them will be worth 40 cents a piece one day, or 50. Who knows? Maybe long after we're dead. But like I said, in the meantime, I have fun doing it. So I figured I'd share a little news on nickel prices, a cheap way to keep yourself occupied and find some potentially cool coins, and just kind of chat and have some fun. Well, if you like these kind of videos, I always appreciate the thumbs up. It is much appreciated. Have a good one.